Staying healthy throughout the holiday season leading up to New Year's can be a real struggle. So we've invited Patricia Greenberg, nutritionist, chef, and author of the book Eat Well, Live Well, Age Well, to help us stay healthy and make conscious decisions heading into the new year. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Kayla. How are you today?
I'm doing great. So it's that time of year with holiday parties and New Year celebrations. They're not stopping anytime soon. So what advice do you have to help people manage that stress of party planning?
Yeah, it's a long stretch, right? From Thanksgiving till now. We have Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, and all the celebrations. And I always like to say, you know, at any age that you are, holidays will become more meaningful with every year. They get harder to manage, though, because, you know, we're always running in a million different directions, trying to figure out what to make, and this frenzy. And one thing I want to say to everybody is you want to have a calm, peaceful holiday season. And, you know, you don't want to get worn out. You don't want to feel, you know, that you can't keep up and manage all of it. So since the last few years, we've all been kind of apart from each other. And now more than ever, we want to just have quality time with our loved ones. So I always say, if you're going to have people over, keep the guest list small, keep it manageable so you're not overwhelmed. You know, if you're serving food, especially a New Year's coming up, you know, we tend to put a lot of stuff out at once. Just cook less, buy some items that are pre-prepared. And I always say, if someone offers to help, take it. Make it a potluck, let people bring things, and don't try anything new at a party. Go with your tried and true so you don't have any disasters that night.
That's a good point. You don't want to try something thinking it'll turn out fantastic and then have it not. Then it's almost like, what do you do? It's too last minute.
Exactly. And, you know, the one thing I always like to say at holiday time and at any time is just really try to be true to yourself. So if you have a household that you want to keep healthy, because, you know, I do that. I tend not to serve a lot of junk food or soda drinks, or I try to keep the alcohol to a minimum. So have a lot on hand, a variety if you're having guests over. And if you're going to someone else's house, don't be shy about bringing something you like, because again, the idea is to take care of yourself. So when it comes to eating, drinking, sleeping, and your fitness, it's important to keep all that up. So let go of any kind of perfection that you're going to do everything just right, and realize, you know, that maybe at this time you're going to slack off a little bit, but try to go for a walk every day, try to do a workout. Drink tons and tons of water, no matter where you are in the country. You know, the weather is shifting. And the one remedy for that, I always say, is plenty of water and get some rest. Do not be embarrassed to say, I've got to go to bed now. I know it's the holidays. People stay up late. People are going to bars. It's okay to say goodnight when it's time for you to leave.
And speaking of guests and having people over, do you have any advice that you would give people on getting their homes ready? That is a big thing. They want to make sure their home looks spotless before having guests arrive.
Yes. And I always say that's a number one thing, is that we go around, okay, what is everybody going to notice? And you're always short on time, right? You think you're going to get ready 3 days ahead. It never happens. You find yourself a half an hour out of when everybody's arriving. So if you are short on time, just keep the common area clean. Just the area where you're going to have guests, pay attention to that. Close the doors in the rest of the house. Have a coat rack available or somewhere in the front where people can put their things down so they're not running around your house, opening up all your doors. Just make sure the bathrooms are clean, well stocked with tissues and hand sanitizers, because, you know, this is a time of year where we worry about spreading germs. And have everything set up where it's easy for you and easy for your guests. That'll keep the house to a minimum of what you have to clean up. I take, and you know, even if your house is small, I'll take a folding table or my dining room table, push it up against the wall, and put everything on one table and let people go and help themselves. You don't need to wait on people. You don't need to worry about what people are thinking of your house. That's a big let it go in my book.
And how do you manage time with guests throughout the party?
Okay, I always say, go around the room. If you see somebody struggling socially, or you see that there's a little, you know, a community forming in a corner, you know, go over and reintroduce everybody. If everyone doesn't know each other, just say, hey, have you met my friend so-and-so? And try to keep that moving. But what's very important for you as a host is, if someone is sucking up all your time, which often happens, you haven't seen people in a while and they just want to talk to you, you know, just very gently say, I would love to catch up with you on that. Let me say hello to all my other guests, and I'll give you a call during the week. And that way you're constantly managing that people are socializing and nobody's taking too much of your time up so that you can get a chance to get around and say hello to everybody. I always say set a start time and a finish time for your event and enforce it. So you're going to have people over from, say, 7 to 10, or you want to celebrate the new year, the 12 midnight. I think your hard cutoff is around 1 o'clock. No one needs to stay into your house till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's unnecessary.
No, absolutely. And I think that's something almost newer, setting this time, but making sure guests are aware you can come over at this time and you can leave at this time. But don't be afraid to do that and just kind of say, this is when I want you to leave. It makes sense. It's funny because we all do that. It takes 2 hours to say goodbye to your guests. Right? Yeah. When people are leaving, you're walking them to the door. But there is a way to gently encourage that. And I think the other thing that some people get drunk. It's they haven't been out in a long time. They haven't been with other people, and they want to party and celebrate. I feel very strongly if somebody is becoming unruly or somebody is getting drunk, you might want to put out some wine and mixed drinks. But everybody needs to stay sober. And I would just gently call an Uber or see if they have a ride home and, make sure they get there. It's going to ruin your evening. It's going to ruin your party. It's not good for them. And again, I'd be on top of that and enforce it. And lastly, Kayla, people are still giving gifts all through the year, or you haven't seen people on Hanukkah or Christmas time, and you might do it at New Year's. And I just want to give a quick tip. I saw this on social media, and I swiped the idea, but I saw this. It's a tree with all the different holiday, beads of the different holidays, and it's a tree made of books. Oh, and wow. I say, these are nice gifts that we scramble and we worry, or if you want to give out party favors, something that's practical, people can read. It's the gift of literacy. Yeah. Give people, people buy so many things we don't need, slippers, things. Get somebody something that is different. I always say, like a little gift certificate to something that they may not buy for themselves. Or I like the gift of you saying, I'm going to take you out for coffee next week and we can talk. Yes. Giving the gift of friendship and companionship and being with people is lovely. It is. All great tips and a great gift idea. It's so great to see you. Happy holidays. And thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you, Kayla. Have a lovely, lovely, happy new year.
You too.